Hello and welcome back to round 6 of the league at Daytona. I am joined by my co-commentator Kaido. How are you doing today, Kaido?
I'm doing good. I'll be honest. That race at Daytona was something for Division Two. So I am good on ovals for at least a day or two.
Yeah, right. You just mentioned that you're doing a stream on NASCAR, like NASCAR, in the next couple of days. So hopefully you'll have a little bit of a rest between then and now.
Yeah, it's interesting because instead of the Camaros that we've been racing in LRC, I'm currently at the point of the career mode run that I'm doing the truck series. And those things are boats. Like, I thought the Camaros were boats. No, trucks are worse. Trucks are worse.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. All right, so we're starting qualifying in just a few seconds here. Dinosaur has started the qualifying process, so we'll jump right into that. And then we'll get into the current championship standings after qualifying, and we'll take a look at those once once qualifying is over, as I try to find who's currently out on their out lap right now. Okay, so Cecil right now, Cecil Turtle is on the out lap. He will be the first to put in a hot lap. So qualifying for the Daytona Oval works a little differently from normal qualifying sessions. Every driver will have an out lap, a hot lap, and then obviously an in lap. But they will only have one chance to put in a lap time. And this will be done individually so that no other cars can influence their speed down the straights by either bump drafting or slipstreaming. So we will see how how smooth drivers can go down through the oval, and then also the car setup will have a huge play into their top speed.
And an interesting kind of line from Cecil Turtle, kind of on the back straight was on the low line and then went high in the corner. I don't know if they're going to do that for the hot lap, but definitely something I didn't really see a whole lot, and it looks like they're staying on that bottom line. I feel like, and I don't know if it's just me having being done with the race just now, but it almost feels like you want to go high on the straight, on that high line, and then go down in the turns, but I could be wrong. As Cecil's hugging that bottom line the entire lap through.
Yeah, I wonder if he was riding the high line at the beginning to maybe try to get like a little bit of an extra downhill bump on the exit there or something for speed. All right, so Cecil sets the benchmark of a 49.5, and Ryan Higgins will start their next, their one and only flying lap. Yeah, I think I didn't get the chance to see Ryan Higgins to see if he did the same thing, but Ryan Higgins now going into turn one around 180 miles an hour into first turn.
Ryan Higgins looking to stick to that bottom line. No, he's going to move up to the high line down the back straightaway, running a Mopar scheme. I don't know if it was I think he's running a different scheme tonight than previous. And yep, he's going to do that kind of diamond motion where he starts out high, goes to the bottom in the turn, trying to build up all that momentum. Kind of staying at 180 though.
Yeah,
as we get ready to go.
Gear as well. Quite a lot of wind looking at the radar map. There's a 15 feet per second wind kind of heading northwest relative to the track. Doesn't seem to be affecting top speed too much.
It looks like it might be affecting it more so on the back straight. I don't know quite so much in the tri-oval getting to the start finish line. Maybe the west part of the wind may be giving them some help, but that north is working against them, so it might just be evening out their speeds.
What's that head? Ollie Bali is asking, what's that head in Dinah's window? Oh, we got a flash of it there on the flyby. We didn't quite see who it was. Dinosaur crossing the start-finish line and jumping into, I think, a provisional second place. So right behind, about a 10th behind Ryan Higgins.
Beto with that legendary number 3 car going and getting ready to start their hot lap for qualifying.
I think Beto missed out on the last race, I believe. Or maybe I'm mistaken.
I want to say yes, but at the same time, I'm not 100. No, was it Beto?
Let's see here. Yeah, Beto missed out on last race, and Stenzel filled in for Beto at Red Bull Ring. So Beto comes back to join us for the final round at Daytona. Yeah, Ollie Bolly. That's Kaito is with me in the commentary box. Is the voice
Hello, Kaito Nasa.
is the volume good or is it is he low? Might need to change it. Can you guys hear him all right?
Testing, testing. This is Kaito Nasa, LRC's resident VTuber and commentator, by the way.
Okay, so Orwick says, yeah, it's perfect. Cool, thank you. All right, so Beto jumps into net second place, right behind Ryan Higgins and in front of Dinosaur on his hot lap. And now Nixon will be taking their turn around the tri-oval.
Currently with the purple sector too. R Nixon with the currently on a flyer.
Yeah, look at that. Almost hitting 183, hitting 184. I thought I saw maybe a 185 in there. Numbers are flashing so quickly, but yeah, definitely flying down the back straight.
I've also noticed that all of the drivers are staying in fifth gear. I know in my qualifying session, I shifted to sixth. I don't know if maybe staying in fifth is giving them more speed, or if but that seems to be what everyone's play is right now. But R Nixon with the provisional pole right now, so it's obviously working out for everyone in Division 1.
Yeah, we'll see what Kip decides to do. Going down the front straight, also staying in fifth gear, all the way to the end, till the start of turn 1, hitting 180 miles per hour. Kind of enters the turn a little bit on the high line and dips down into the low line.
I've noticed Kip is running NASA livery. I noticed it last week too, but I feel it fitting considering we're at Daytona on the Space Coast.
Yeah. So, Damon X 94X asks, "What do you prefer, NASCAR or IndyCar?"
Ooh. Me personally, I've gotten more into endurance racing, but out of the two, I would say IndyCar currently. I mean, I still like NASCAR. I grew up with NASCAR, but modern NASCAR is kind of I don't want to start a whole argument about, the modern NASCAR. Look at the finish at Richmond this week. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Yeah.
So out of the two, I am more of an IndyCar fan.
Bishop says F1. F1 is F1 on the good years is great, but if you're actually wanting like actual racing, F1 isn't really the place to watch great racing. It's just great drama around the racing.
I've been getting into WEC a lot recently, so if you're a fan of endurance racing, plus the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
All right, so Zukos takes provisional pole position with a 49.2. Now we got Willie out on track on the lap. But to talk about racing series, I'm actually a huge fan of Super Formula and the Japanese series in general. So Super Formula is one of them. And then the Super GT series is actually an amazing endurance series to watch. It's multi-class. You have the GT 500 cars, you have the GT 300 cars, and it's incredibly awesome to watch. It's the only problem, it's not very accessible. You have to get motorsport.tv, like a subscription to get their stream, and the stream is not even that amazing. But the racing is fantastic there.
I've noticed that GT racing has gotten more accessible because there's GT Planet on YouTube that streams like the Fanatec GT series.
Oh yeah. Yep. So Willie hitting purple sectors 1 and 2, I think a full 10th up on the provisional pole position. Hugs the inside line all throughout turns 3 and 4. I think Willie is looking to cross the line and be our new pole sitter. Yep. So Willie crosses the line and is our new provisional pole position leader with a 49.157.
And then DS Love getting ready for their hot lap. Driver from Maelstrom, very, very strong team this season. Of course, their Division 2 drivers just nailing it all season long. So the Division 1 drivers giving their Division 2 teammates some really good coaching throughout the season, letting them finish strong. As DS Love getting ready to come out of turn 2 onto the back straightaway, taking that high line, getting ready to diamond into turn 3 and 4. And the wind's kind of dying down a little bit, it looks like, if I'm looking into the top right corner correctly.
Yeah, so as Azel mentioned in chat, the wind has dropped down and he thinks it's been helping people who are going later. So we'll see if that's the case with DS Love as he gets really close to the wall, entering the tri-oval part of the oval, and crosses at second position, only 0.02 of a second behind Willie.
Anthony Colazzo going to be coming up for their hot lap now, getting ready to set their time. And you know, I'm thinking there might be some merit to that with the wind. There's not as much of that north wind kind of slowing the car down as it's approaching the start-finish line, so that might be improving times.
So the interesting thing too, though, is that we are running these cars in reverse championship order. So naturally, the guys at the top are going to be having better setups and potentially being smoother with the cars as well. So like, I think we have Anthony and then Dutra, Ryder, Harmsway, Toasty, and Stoll still to go. So I mean, these guys are going to be the fastest people in the league as well. So that is also a consideration.
That is true. It's easy to forget sometimes as a driver, even though we get told at the start of qualifying session, hey, you're going in reverse points order. Because when you're driving, you don't really think about that. You just think, okay, I gotta get the fastest lap I can get, and in the qualifying session, I don't care what anyone's point standings is. Last week's results were last week's. I just need to do well on my qualifying session, and I think that's what these drivers are thinking about too. They're not really thinking about it, but from our perspective, you know, that is something we need to take into account. Is, you know, the guys that have been consistently faster all season, they're starting to come up to do their qualifying session. So wind or no wind affecting the time doesn't really matter, because these guys, you know, consistently have been fast. They're gonna keep doing their fast lap times.
Yeah, and it seems like in the past couple of laps as well, the wind hasn't changed much. So hopefully it won't be a consideration or a factor in the last couple of people running their qualifying session. But even then, you know, qualifying is important, but at the same time, you know, anything can happen in the race. There's going to be 66 laps, I think, of the race today. Let me double check that, so I make sure I don't forget about Harm's Way. Switching over to Harm's Way, starting the hot lap.
I can take a peek for that for you. The benefits of having two monitors. No, Division 1, you are looking at a 70 lap race, so 10 laps more than Division 2.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll be going 70 laps, and then it'll be 66 with will be the last lap with the safety car, virtual safety car procedures.
And with it being Daytona, like you said earlier, anything can happen, and we saw that with the Division 2 race. You know, we went 20 laps with no safety car, and then it just seemed like cautions bred cautions, and could be the same thing here, because you've got a pack of cars very close together, giving each other bumps, staying in the draft, and, you know, one small slip up and you've just took someone into the outside wall.
Yeah, it seemed like maybe nerves or the pressure started building up towards the end there. And at the beginning, everyone is very, very conservative, very, very cautious, and then as the race unfolded, it began to be, people were making a little bit more risky moves, making more desperate moves. So it was definitely awesome to see, and also unfortunate for a lot of the people though involved in some of the incidents that have happened. So speaking of, so Toasty just set the fastest purple sector for sector 1. See if he'll maintain it. Does not maintain the purple sector time for sector 2, but I think he'll be in contention for a very fast lap here, going through turn 4 onto the the front straight. And he jumps to 5th position, just behind Nixon and in front of Kip. All right, so Stolz is starting. Yes, so sorry. So Stolz is starting his qualifying lap, and Stolz right now currently dominating the Drivers' Championship, which we'll go over after qualifying. He's 115 points in with the lead, and then Toasty is in 2nd place with 97 points.
I don't know if you heard that. I was trying to take a sip of water quietly, but Stoll's definitely looking to try and get the fastest lap out there, and it might be those Reese's Pieces he's been having on his car, and maybe he's got some in the car as well to give him a little bit of a boost.
Man, there's something with the Reese's brand. So he only crosses at 4th, but still pretty high up. Like Willie, for instance, has the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups livery, and he just got pole position. So something to do with that brand doing really well here at LRC.
Oh, that might have to become the official candy brand of the LRC at this point.
I think Harmsway will have a lot to say of that. He's running the Butterfingers, the Butterfingers livery. But Damon asks, who would you say has improved the most throughout the season?
Ooh. Division 1 wise, I'm not entirely sure. Partially because I have a bad memory sometimes, and 9 times out of 10 I've been focusing so much on Division 2.
Chat,
and trying to make sure I'm ready.
Chat, let's hear your opinions on this one. So Orwick says, in D2, so many of us have gotten faster throughout the season. I've been keeping my eye on Kaido, Buttons, and my guy Lamb King, and Jesus.
I would throw in the...
I would say you've improved quite a lot just in the past year that you've joined LRC, so hats off to you.
I honestly would give it to Lamb King. I think Lamb King's improved a lot from the start of the season to tonight, a lot of the D2 guys, and even then I'd say a lot of the D2 guys, they've gotten so much better with their racecraft and working well under pressure. So my list is got everyone in Division 2, but I would say maybe out of the whole list of everyone, Lamb King's probably at the top of my list for most improved through the season.
All right. Yeah, it's really tough to say. I feel like I think that the hardest thing to say is because everyone is improving at the same time. So like at the beginning of the season, right? Like you have your set order of people doing well, people who are not doing well, whatever. But then like towards the end of the season, it could be the same order of people, doing relatively well in relation to each other, but everyone's like improving at the same time, right? And it's kind of really tough to see who improves the most because, in situations like these where the race can involve incidents and unluck and being lucky and stuff, it's hard to do it just by, race positions and finishes. So looking really at, people's ability to pass and their racecraft and strategy and whatnot, it's there's so many facets to improvement. It's really tough to say who really improved the most. I mean, just by seeing the standings alone, like Flying Disc did pretty well in the Academy League, like before season 3. People is doing really well. So People is currently in 3rd. He was doing really well in the Division 2 race until the incident got him knocked out, basically in contention of the championship. And Orwick in general has just been super consistent this entire season. So I mean, all of our like top 5 are doing really well. Proved a lot.
Damon in chat asks, what happens if someone disconnects? So if I remember correctly, how we did it in Division 2, and I don't know if it's still the same in Division 1, where you disconnect, if you manage to make it a certain length within the race, and then all of a sudden you disconnect, because we had it happen in our race. The position you were in when you disconnect, you get half the points for that position. I don't know if that's the same in Division 1, but I know that's how it worked in Division 2.
All right, so let's take a quick look at the current qualifying standings. So Willie with pole position, Dieslove in 2nd, Zukost in 3rd, Stolz with the 4th position, Nixon in 5th, Toasty in 6th, Kip 7th, Ryan Higgins USA in 8th place, Beto in 9th, Anthony Colazzo rounding out the top 10, Arms Way in 11th, Dinosaur in 12th, Cecil Turtle in 13th, and R Rider in 14th. So we got the 2-minute warning from Dinosaur, and we'll take those 2 minutes to quickly take a look at our current championship standings. So right now, Stolz is leading the championship standings for Invictus with 115 points. Toasty in 2nd for Chama Racing with 97. So quite the gap there between 1st and 2nd, almost 18 points, or it is 18 points. And then we got Harm's Way in 3rd, only 3 points behind Toasty. So a tight battle here for 2nd place. And then we got like a 4 or 5-way battle for 4th place. So Ryder in 4th, Dutra 5th, Palazzo in 6th, Dieslove in 7th, Willie in 8th, Zukost in 9th, Kip in 10th. Then we got Nixon, Beto, Dinosaur, Ryan Higgins, Bishop, and then a few people who showed up for the D1 races as substitutes from 15th to 20th. So in the team standings, Invictus leads with 157 points, Chama Racing with 148, or sorry, Diddley Squat Racing with 148, Chama with 128, Whisker Warriors Performance Racing in 4th place with 124. Then we got Maelstrom Motorsports in 5th, Team.com in 6th, Toro Bravo Racing in 7th. And then finally, the overall team championship standings, Diddley Squat Racing in 1st with 235 points, only 4 points ahead in front of Invictus at 231, which is only 3 points ahead of Chama Racing with 228. And then you have a 7-point split between them and Maelstrom Motorsports. Whisker Warriors Performance Racing with 198, Team.com in 6th place, and Toro Bravo Racing in 7th. And so none of the points from D2 race have been added into the overall team standings yet. We will, after this race, put in the numbers and see the provisional results, but that will be, of course, provisional because we have to apply any sort of penalties from any incidents that occurred.
And for anyone watching the broadcast, when we put in those incident reports, it's not to get anyone in trouble. The LRC is our big thing at LRC is learning how to improve our racecraft and how to become better racing drivers. So we use these incidents as a way to figure out what we could have done better as drivers and use that to improve upon. So we're not trying to get anyone in trouble with these penalties, but penalties have to they have to have a consequence, and it's just you take it in stride and try to learn from those mistakes, and you move on.
And the penalties are pretty heavy. Every time incidents happen, we try to incentivize them from not happening by having very, very intense penalties applied to racers by giving positions away. But we don't have to worry about that now. Right now, we are starting the race, and hopefully, we won't see any incidents starting off in the first few laps. So Willie will take us through the green flag, and we're a go, go, go. So Willie gets a decent start, and Dieslov actually gets a pretty poor start and has Zukos right on his tail, along with Stoles sitting in 4th place.
Now that pack of 3 is going to catch up to Willie really quickly, just because they've got that train with the draft. Willie getting that good jump at the start, but it is going to slow him down overall. And now the other 3 may decide to stay behind Willie and keep that train going for a while. Or they could just be like, hey, we've got 3 cars, we can move up high. But it looks like they're going to just work together, kind of stay calm for this first lap, not try anything too crazy right now, and make it through relatively fine, no real incidents. And I say that Dieslov is going to the high side, seeing if he can get a pass going through the tri-oval, and it looks like that's not going to stick. He doesn't have anyone else on the outside to help him, so Dieslov may fall back here if he can't tuck back into line.
I think that's a trend that I've been seeing all throughout the Division 2 race. Anytime someone tried to make a pass, they would just simply get caught out from the racing line and then just lose 2 or 3 positions. No one is willing to start basically a draft slipstream train. But it looks like we are slowing down. I think we had our first incident, and now we're going to be running into our first VSC.
I saw a lot of sparks flying, and it looks like we do have someone well off the pace, kind of in the very back. It's gonna be Nixon. I don't know what happened. He's definitely got some damage though, so definitely something happened to bring out our first safety car of the night for Division 1.
All right, so I think if I remember correctly, Division 2 had 7 virtual safety cars. 6 or 7? I think it was 7.
I think the number Dinosaur gave us was 8. We got 8, so we had
8.
the most.
All right, so you had 8, and I think there's a little bit of a beef going on between Division 1 and 2 to see who gets the least amount of VSC cars, or most, I guess, whichever way you want to look at it. But we'll see which division comes out with a cleaner race if Division 2 can run with less than 8 VSCs today. But so far they're not off to a good start.
I'm just saying it took us 20 laps to get our first VSC. Y'all are already getting it on lap 1. So kind of already have a jump on Division 1 drivers right now, but I'm kind of biased being a Division 2 driver.
That was seriously impressive though. I was very impressed to see 20 laps go by and not a single VSC happen. That was really, really nice actually. And I hope we can see some of that here.
We almost called it once because of someone had started to spin and got some damage, but we never got the second VSC call, so we just couldn't 100% determine or not. And that's also partially what the replays are for, just to see if we missed anything as drivers, and to go back and apply. Hindsight is 20/20. In the heat of the moment, you can't really. Sometimes things fall through the cracks.
Rogue, welcome. I hope all is going well with you, Rogue. Alright, so I think everyone has made their pit stops. Everyone is caught up to the safety car line. And we will get underway as soon as we make our way around turns 3 and 4.
Yep, looks like we're forming up. Speeds are dropping down to about that 80 miles per hour mark, and we're seeing that double file restart, NASCAR style, as we get ready to get out of turn 4 here shortly.
Magic Oreo Dust says, thought this race would be filled with candy bar liveries.
There's a couple, but not as many as I thought there would be.
Yeah.
I also noticed there's an Arizona Tea livery too.
Yeah, Zukas has been sporting the Arizona Tea livery all season long, and it's been quite enjoyable seeing that one. I really like the livery there with the pink flowers and the green. But we're getting underway here, and Zukas, speaking of his livery, we just didn't get a great start, and now Dieslov slides into second position. Everyone else looks pretty good, so Kip kind of slides under Stoles, and Stoles gets stuck on the outside and loses 2 positions. I think 3, and actually lost a couple of more positions as Harm's Way passes Stoles as well. Or no, now Stoles is ahead. So a lot of people jockeying for position on the restart.
Looks like Stoles and Beto were trying to get something started on the high line, but that bottom line has still got way too many cars to really try and get something forming on the high line. If you had about 2 more cars, maybe you could get something to work on the high side, but as it stands, that bottom line's looking really, really strong.
Why do you think it's so difficult to start a racing line on the outside? Like, we haven't seen that at all. I think the only time we saw that was like once in the D1 race on round 1, and it was maybe for like 2 laps, and then it just quickly disintegrated away.
Well, the big thing is that traditionally on ovals, that inside line is technically the shortest length around the track. So a lot of drivers will try to stick to that inside line. Daytona technically can work with both the high and the low line, but the problem is you got to have especially with these Camaros, you have to have a train of at least 4 or 5 cars to get something to work on the high line and stay, with the lead pack. Because you are having to take a longer line, so you need more cars to do the drafting with you.
Yeah, it's kind of like the dance floor problem. If you have one person out there, no one else wants to go out there and support that one person dancing. But if maybe 2 or 3 people go out at the same time, you get a little bit of more momentum in terms of like moral support.
And then sometimes you just end up in the high line because you get a little bit of a push, and the bump and run does happen in ovals, and it can happen at super speedways as well. So you'll see a little bit of a bump. Someone will get a little tap. They'll end up getting it just a little bit out of that bottom groove, get up into the high line, and sometimes someone will come up with them. Sometimes it's just you're by yourself.
Yeah, in a lot of cases, it could just be a fraction of a second of getting slightly wide going into a turn, and then you lose your position just like that, because the car behind you can just slide right in, and you don't want to risk starting an incident or causing an incident by trying to slide back down and cutting off the person who's trying to take your position on the inside.
We see Kip go a little wide there, but he's got some help on the outside line, it looked like. No, it looks like his help is going to try and make it 3 wide into turn 1. They're settling it out back to 2 wide, and looks like that blue car back there, I think that's that almost looks like Ryan Higgins' car.
Yeah, I think that's right.
It is. Yeah, so the Toro Bravo teammates trying to get something going on the high line, although went 3 wide for a second and ended up with Ryan Higgins in the wall for a split second. Kind of falling back now. You've got 3 up there.
Yeah, it just shows you how delicate it is. The how much how delicate it is to maintain and keep your position. The minute you get out of position or you lose a little bit of speed and or maybe you have contact with the wall, you can lose up to 5 to 8 places within a second. It's absolutely crazy.
Looks like we're starting to see some guys trying to get that high line working. As oh, a little bit of contact in the back there.
I think that's the other factor that makes the high line risky is bump drafting closer to the upper wall can make it a little bit more risky for cars to potentially lose control or just lose speed very, very quickly if they make contact with the wall. So it might be also one of the reasons why our drivers today don't like the high line. But Harm's Way trying his hardest right now to get people behind him.
He's got some help, and it looks like
but he just jumps into the
he leaves
jumps
his
into the low line. He abandons his high line as soon as he gets the opportunity.
It looked like Dinosaur got a little wide there, and I was like, oh, maybe Dinosaur's gonna go up there and try and get the outside line going, and Harm's Way just took that as, oh, hey, free position, mine now.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that too. As soon as Dinosaur left the inside line, Harm's Way was like, whoop, I'll take that right now. We can see, I think it was Dinosaur and Zukost losing out on tons of positions by being on that outside line and not being able to bump draft. And we got Kip here trying to make a move on Harm's Way on the outside line, and he'll look to tuck in again into the bottom line once he gets an opportunity. Oh, and there's an incident there.
Oh, we've got an incident in the back.
I think that was Anthony Colazzo and I don't know who else that was out there, but I caught the replay marker there. I think Cecil Turtle.
Cecil.
All right, so let's take a look at the replay and see what happened.
A little bit of a bump, and oh, it was the that light green car kind of took a bump wrong, went up high and just hooked Anthony Colazzo, which got him into Cecil Turtle there.
Yeah, I think it might have been. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, so it was. Who is this?
It's
Dutra. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
You can find that it was.
Not Dutra. It was Nixon.
All right, I saw the Hello Kitty the Hello Kitty emblems, and I was like, oh, Dutra.
No, I think we've got Turtle subbing in for Dutra tonight.
That's right. Yeah, so maybe it looked like, yeah, Nixon had made contact with Ryan Higgins. Or no, was it Colazzo? I think it was.
He got a little bit of a run, kind of got into a bad bump draft with Ryan Higgins, ended up sliding up the track and just managed to hook Anthony Colazzo.
Yeah, very unfortunate there for all excuse me, all parties involved. Trying to eat a little bit of food while I commentate dinner time here.
It's past dinner time where I'm at, so.
All right, so
actually, Division 2 race starts right at dinner time for me, so I have to like eat super quick.
Cecil is making his way around the track to catch up to the safety car line, and then we'll get restarted right away. Ducost in first place at the moment. Decides to not take a pit stop. Is sitting around, looks like 40%-ish tire wear. We got Toasty sitting in second place with also the same amount of tire wear. I think all the top leaders of the pack right now are people who didn't take a pit stop, but Harm's Way did take a pit stop, and he's currently sitting in fourth place.
Looks like Harm's Way only took tires though, no fuel. From my guess, maybe a
Yep.
little bit of fuel, but
Yeah, and maybe just a tiny bit. Dinosaur in
Dinosaur.
5th place, looking good. Yep, just like Harm's Way. And Nixon as well, despite that incident that they had. I think Nixon actually got scot-free from the incident he was involved with. And then we got Beto sitting in 7th with new tires and a full tank of gas. Kip with 3/4 of tank, new tires. D-Slove, full tank, new tires. Oh, and we're going to get started again real quick. The Zukas take us through the green flag, and we get underway. Toasty gets a little bit of a slower start, and Ryder will take 2nd position away from Toasty as Toasty slots in behind Ryder into the slipstream.
And I've noticed something about the tire wear too. You can just about get all of the tires to the red, and maybe squeeze out one more lap before they will. One of your tires on the right side will. It feels like it's a puncture, and you'll just spin. I found that out in practice, so maybe the top 3, top 4 gonna try and risk it, go a little longer. They think they can make their tires last at least another 5 to 10 laps.
I don't know. In Division 1, oh no, there's another incident. I don't know. We saw Lamb King run on his dead tires for at least like, I don't know, 6 to 8 laps, completely dead tires. I was really impressed.
It's possible at Daytona, but you do run the risk of eventually those tires just giving out on you fully.
All right, so let's take a look to see if we can find out what happened in this incident. Oh, looks like it was between Beto and Kip, and then we got some more behind Ryan Higgins and Anthony Colazzo and Stoles, I believe. Yep.
I would consider that a big one at Daytona.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Something that happens during the super speedway races. You got to watch out for them. That big one. It's a monster that lurks at the super speedways and is ready to pounce at a moment's notice.
Yeah, it's especially difficult when the incident happens in the middle of the pack, and then let's say you're the back of the pack and you just literally have nowhere to go, and you just can't help but get collected by the cars involved. So it's pretty rough. So this is VSC number 2.
I want to say 3.
3. I can't count.
Yeah, because we had the lap 1, and then we had the one on 14, and then we just had this one. So this will be 3. I'm keeping count, Division 1. I'm keeping count. We got that rivalry going.
At this rate, there will be 11 safety cars for this race.
You know what, though? It's still less than iRacing's MX500 at Martinsville. They had almost... I kid you not. I was watching that broadcast. They had, I'm pretty sure they hit 30 cautions.
Oh my god.
And this was the top split guys. These are like guys with I ratings between like 5 to 8,000. So these are like some of the fastest guys on ovals on the iRacing service. And MX5s at Martinsville is for 500 laps, it's chaos. And so 30 cautions.
I think the problem with sim racing is that there are no real life consequences to getting in an incident. So I think what happens is in sim racing, you get a lot of people who are willing to do more crazy maneuvers, be more risky in terms of bump drafting and racecraft. And that really, in my opinion, is kind of a shame because it kind of removes the aspect of being conservative and cautious in a racing situation. and it kind of takes away from the cleanliness of racing a lot of times, in my opinion. There's no
I think it depends.
there's no like kind of self-preservation, self-preservation instincts kicking in terms of racing when it comes to sim racing.
Harm's Way taking the lead a little bit. Sorry to go off of our tangent for a second, but Harm's Way almost looking like trying to make the outside line work solo. Dinosaur giving Zukost a push though, and gonna shuffle Harm's Way back into the back of that pack, saying, "Yeah, you're by yourself. That high line's not gonna fly. You might have a good run for a little bit, but that draft is just gonna overpower you at that point."
Yep.
And Zukost still.
Harm's Way's request to take the lead was denied by Dinosaur.
We have reviewed your application, and we apologize, but we're going with another candidate for the lead position of the pack. Meanwhile, Zukost, little less than half on fuel, and tires looking really worn down, looking to stretch it to try and have as few hits as he needs to. Dinosaur in second, making good use of their tires at the moment, since they pit not too far apart. And Harm's Way really trying to make his presence known,
squeezing
going
in
under
there.
that double yellow line to try and make a move. If this were NASCAR, I don't know about that one now.
Yeah. Pretty aggressive move by Harm's Way there. Doesn't pick up a penalty in GT7, surprisingly. I feel like GT7 does a good job of penalizing people who cross the double yellow line, but we might get a second racing line forming here with Willie trying to take the lead.
Willie and Dinosaur making the outside work a little bit. Might get something here, as Willie's already got the lead. He might clear Zukost coming into the tri-oval. He does, so the outside line works for a bit, and now Willie inheriting the lead.
Yeah, and he leaves Dinosaur out. He hangs Dinosaur out to dry, but looks like Dinosaur will be getting a little bit of help from Anthony Colazzo.
Well, color me surprised. Two cars made the outside line work, so it could be possible. You've got a third kind of poking their head in there. That might make the outside line fall apart, though, if you kind of try to poke and prod. Zukost going to the outside now, saying, "Hey, that outside worked."
Yes. So D-Slub joins him in the battle for the outside line, and Zukost will retake the lead. This is getting really interesting. So now everyone is starting to, oh no, and then as I say this, I think Dinosaur gets in a pretty bad slide and collects 2-3 cars going into the exit of turn 4, and Zukost dives into the pits as a result.
Zukost taking a second to notice that VSE is being called very quickly, decides to take their pit right as they get to the entrance to pit road. And it looks like that 12 car just got into that left rear quarter panel and sends Dinosaur spinning. It looks like the backpack with Ryan Higgins were, it looks like they spun trying to check up to avoid Dinosaur there, so a little bit of a cause and effect. Dinosaur spinning, the backpack kind of collecting themselves in their own wreck, trying to avoid the wreck that's happening in front of them.
And that was, I hope we see more of that outside line going into the second half of this race. That was extremely exciting, and a lot of swapping of positions and jockeying for position there. I think hopefully seeing that work, I think more people might try it later on, but yeah, it comes down to just having trust of whether or not whoever goes on the outside line that someone will follow. But Zukost there made a brilliant move going in the upper line, switching to the upper line as soon as he saw some support there and momentum increase, so that he moved over to the front of the outside line to be able to bump draft ahead of Willie going out of turn 4.
And a good job by Willie as well to see that, he had a good run, seeing that someone was up there in the high line, gonna get some help right at the exit of turn 4 when you need that speed the most. Because I feel like in the corners you can kind of keep pace with the inside line, but when you get out of the exit, you're gonna need that push to give you that extra bit of speed. And Willie using that outside line perfectly, getting clear right at the exit of the tri-oval, and being able to slide down into the inside line to get that block going.
Yeah, it was kind of funny seeing Willie just get that bump from Dinosaur and just be like, see ya.
And even then, Dinosaur had some help after that too. It wasn't
He did,
like
yeah.
Willie left him out to dry, but he ended up getting some support. So you know, Dinosaur getting some help there and not being left out on the outside line and having to go all the way to the back of the pack.
For a brief moment, it did look like Dinosaur was going to fall back quite a bit along with Anthony Colazzo. And then it wasn't until a third car joined them is when Zukos realized they were like making their way up, and Zukos jumped out from like, I think it was third position. I think it was third, yeah. And took the lead from Willie. It was really, really great move. Great racing.
It looked like we were getting 5 cars at a time there, right before the safety car went out. So maybe that outside line, I told you that outside line, if you can get a train of cars going with you and get some support, it can be just as viable as that inside line. Also, I see Orwick in chat saying it's fun hearing Kaito saying more than just "Hi, Orwick." So, hi, Orwick. It's our little running thing we've been doing in Division 2. Every time I catch up to Orwick, I would just say, hi, Orwick.
That's amazing. All right, so Willie now leading the safety car into our restart procedure. We cross the start-finish line, and Willie goes underway. D-Slove maintains second place, sticks right behind Willie. We got Harm's Way in third place with Anthony Colazzo right behind him, pushed him along to catch up to D-Slove and Willie. Further down
Looks
the
like
pack,
a little bit of tandem drafting.
Yeah, for sure. And we got quite the double file forming in the back of the pack, it looks like.
Toasty making up some solid ground. They've got, it looks like 4 or 5 cars in the high line, so they may make it work. May not, as Toasty kind of gets up into the wall for a little bit. Cecil's staying in 5th gear. I don't know about staying in 5th through turn 4. I think at that point you kind of want to get into 6th gear now. But Cecil thinking that he can keep his speed going in 5th gear. We'll see if... I don't know if you can damage your motor doing that, but Zukos doing the same thing, so I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Ryder, Dinosaur on the outside line. Ryder might be able, if he gets a good push from Dinosaur. No, he's going to try and tuck in. Dinosaur's going to have to be forced to go 3 wide with the momentum he's got. And 3 wide into turn 3. Oh, make it stick,
no.
guys. No! Dinosaur comes down, and it looks like just a pit maneuver. We've got another VSC. And I believe that makes number 5, guys. Oh, and they're still wrecking.
Oh my goodness.
They're wrecking up front, too. Or was that still mid-pack? That might have been mid-pack.
That was still
The map was
mid-pack,
misleading. Yeah, map was misleading. Dinosaur
So
with
once again,
some damage.
I think once again, as Dinosaur with the being pit maneuvered, intentionally or unintentionally. Yeah, there you go. Just that outside line is so hard going 3 wide. You have very little room for error. It's just extremely difficult. So everyone just dives into the pits, and then Kip gets pit maneuvered I think as people just try to dive into the pits last minute, knowing that there's this incident happening, and then Zukos stays out.
Zukos tires looking really, really nice right now. So, not feeling the need to pit at the moment. It seems like he just inherits for the front lead again. Getting ready to. I think we've got one more pace lap, and then it'll be time to take the restart. That's number 5, I believe, guys.
I'm gonna write myself a little note in chat so that we can keep track.
We need like a little counter and just like have it in like
like a that's such a good idea.
If we hit 10, if we hit 10 when we implement that, the 10th of caution needs to be in wingdings. Nobody will be able to understand it, but you know, if it's in wingdings, we've hit 10. So
what's number 10 in wingdings?
I don't know actually off the top of my head. I'd have to type it out and paste it. I don't know if Twitch would be able to recognize wingdings. So.
All right, so we are passing the pit lane. Or no, not we're passing the lane. What am I talking about? We're going through the back straight, getting our double file ready for the restart. Zukos will lead us into the restart procedure. Stoll's in second place, in second place on the same strategy, it looks like, as Zukos. So both of them with the same amount of tire wear. In first and second decide to not take a pit. Same fuel as well. Very interesting.
Stalls and Zukos.
I mean, it makes sense. They're teammates. So Invictus right now 1-2. I think they'll do their best to attempt to work together on this restart, as Ryder almost gets his nose on the inside of Stoll's on that restart. So Zukos and Ryder now will be working together to maintain their 1-2. Ryder in third place now, and then I think that's Toasty trying to start a second line on the outside, but is not getting any support at all.
Nope, he's getting past the full train on the inside line. So Toasty, I take that back. Dinosaur's on the outside line too, but maybe because Dinosaur hasn't been able to find a way to get down. Toasty looking to finally get back into the inside line. Ryan Higgins kind of peeking on the outside. They might try to get something started. Ryan Higgins going 3 wide, it looks like, and we saw how 3 wide was last time, guys. Kind of sketchy. They managed to keep it clean through the tri-oval, though. So Ryan Higgins, Toasty.
Yeah, they all kind of file in line together into the lower line. Not too much drama here. Kip Dunkel also in the low line. And it looks like someone back there, Nixon, kind of dropped back quite a bit. Maybe he had contact with the wall or something and lost a lot of time.
I saw Nixon, it looked like in the grass a little bit, so something happened to make him go into the tri-oval grass and lose a lot of speed there. So definitely losing the draft, and if no VSC happens, he may lose the draft completely and start to fall farther back behind.
So Stoll's keeping his distance from Zukos, making sure he's not bump drafting too hard or sticking too close to Zukos. His teammates making sure he's reducing the risk of potentially spinning his teammate out. So they are right now working together as best as possible. There's a lot of roping going on between Beto and I think Willie. Looks very, very sketchy.
Willie able to back out just enough to not get into that quarter panel of Beto. managing to keep it clean the entire way through that corner. And I think the big thing for Stolz and Zukost is they don't mind bump drafting in the straights, but they want to avoid it as much as they can in the corners, like you said, to avoid that accidental spin out from their teammate. So you see Stolz kind of backing off in the corner there, and then not afraid to go all the way to the back bumper on that straightaway. And that seems to be exactly what the plan is don't bump in the corner, but bump in the straights for the maximum amount of speed.
Yeah, and I think that's an excellent strategy to maintain your position as a 1-2. I think it's really difficult for the cars to be passing on the outside, seeing that it's really hard to get support. But as I say that, Ryder, and I think that is it D-Slove? Could it be D-Slove?
It is.
No, yeah, it's D-Slove.
Ryder with a really good run manages to get second for a little bit. D-Slove going to try and stick with Ryder. The two Maelstrom teammates making the outside work as long as they can. And it looks like Zukost kind of went back into fifth for a little bit of an extra speed boost for a second. Maelstrom going to fall back behind. It looks like not managing to keep it quite as in line as the inside line was for a bit. So they were managing to make it work when they were in that line consistently, but as soon as one of them kind of stepped out to the side a little bit, maybe getting a little tighter, a little loose, they ended up just losing that momentum.
Yeah, that was a great attempt there from, I believe it's Maelstrom Motorsports to overtake Invictus for the 1-2 lead. And I think if they would have gotten a third supporter there in that outside line, I think they could have done it.
I think they did, but the third car in that outside line was just too far behind and couldn't give them the extra push they needed to keep that run going. Meanwhile, everyone's staying on that inside line now, kind of wanting to go the. I think they heard me keeping track of their cautions, and they were trying to prove me wrong, to avoid them as we enter close to the halfway point of this race. One more lap, and we will reach that halfway mark. Stoll's kind of dipping into the apron a little bit, coming back up into the traditional racing surface. Traditionally in NASCAR, you try not to dip into the apron that much, but Zukost making it work, maybe just getting a little squirrely off the turn and kind of poking on that on the inside of that double yellow to keep the car in control, but managing to do well. Currently holding off the pack in first, and it looks like we've got another outside line trying to form. Three cars kind of trying to work together, it looks like, to get something started.
So it's pretty interesting. We got a excuse me, we got a 1-2 for Invictus right now. So 3-4 is team.com. We got Beto and Willie, and then 5 and 6, if I'm not mistaken, is Colazzo and Harmsway of Diddley Squad. Is that correct? Yeah. So both of them are Diddley Squad. So we got 3 teams, essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, and they're all trying their best to preserve their order so that they don't lose their positions. It's a very interesting composition of drivers right now. So because they're all next to their teammate, they're trying to do their best to not create any incidents, to be as conservative as possible. But as I say that, it looks like Harmsway has lost a couple positions, and now we're starting to get a little squirrely.
Got a little squirrely.
Yeah.
We've got the outside line starting to get together. Looks like there's 5 cars up there. No, there's only 4. Looked like 5 for a second, and Stoll's going to stay in second. Invictus 1-2 still. Some wall riding going on there a little bit. The outside line,
like, yeah.
not too far apart though. They were trying to make it work.
Yeah, it seems like the biggest difficulty that they're having on the high line is just avoiding the wall on turn entry. You can see it being a little bit difficult to not touch the wall.
Two-car tandem though getting a good run though, because you see the three-car managing to get a good run.
Oh yeah, there we go. Beto now is going to get a good bump, and there he goes.
If he can get a good bump on the exit, you know, that'll be... If he can get a good enough bump, that'll get him clear of Zukos, and he can dip down and start leading that inside line. I don't think he's going to get that bump in time, though. Maybe. It looks like he's clear on that screen. He is clear.
And Willie decides to jump into the outside line as well and takes the lead on the front and nearly avoids Beto, his own teammate, going into the low line. That could have been very, very catastrophic.
And we've got we've got a safety car. Ryan Higgins being spun, number 6 going on. We're getting closer to the end of the race, but we still got another 32 laps to go. A lot can happen in 32 laps, so that is VSC number 6 for Division 1. We may be looking at a tie here for the last race.
Oh yeah. That was, I think it was Ryder and Ryan Higgins getting a little contact, and then Palazzo getting collected as well.
As we get, it looks like most of the pack into the pits, I'm going to take a second to look into the chat and see Prop Wash asking, is it true Fanatec is going out of business? What wheels would you recommend besides the G29? As far as I know, the parent company of Fanatec filed for insolvency, not Fanatec themselves. So at the moment, Fanatec is still kind of, you know, 50-50. That said, if it's in your budget, I'd still recommend a Fanatec. At least in the States side, I've heard that customer service in the US is doing fairly better than what it used to be. If not Fanatec, if you're looking for something that's like just PC, Moza for the price range is pretty good. And if you're looking for something with PlayStation support, if you're not wanting Fanatec, honestly the only other options are Thrustmaster, which doesn't have a direct drive support on PlayStation yet, or the Logitech.
Yeah, no, as a Logitech user, I'd say the Logitech, the G Pro, is their higher end model, and definitely a good buy because they have like the True Force mechanic, which is like includes like an audio channel that adds to vibration on the wheel, so it sounds like the engine will get transmitted through the wheel, the street noise, tire squeals, and those sorts of things, which gives it kind of a little bit more of a nicer maybe response, immersion, whatever you want to call it. But it's kind of like haptics. It's kind of like having a bass shaker, but directly into the wheel. So instead of like a bass shaker connected to the butt of your seat, it's more of like just built into the wheel.
I can't really say much because I'm still using the G29. Just because I don't have a direct drive wheel that's supported on PlayStation. I don't have a direct drive wheel, period. But if I did, I'd probably get a Moza right now. Or I might just save up and get that Logitech G Pro. The only downside I don't like about the Logitech is that it only has the one wheel.
Yeah.
For the G Pro base. As soon as they add more wheels, though, I would wholeheartedly go with the G Pro.
They've been saying for like 3 years now they've been working on getting like a new wheel, and it's just an incredibly slow process. But that's Logitech for you. They're pretty slow in terms of these release of new products, but when they do release products, it's really good. Like the G Pro is a solid piece of an instrument. Like it's super high quality. Like the feedback is great. It's 11 newton meters, which is well more than enough of force feedback that you'll need for pretty much any application. So all around. I think it's a great product.
Meanwhile, we are getting ready to go back under green flag, and away they go. And just a reminder, there's been 6 virtual safety cars tonight so far. We'll see how it goes as they're looking to be a little wide in the back there behind Willie. Willie going to start pulling away, it looks like, for a little bit, but that's before the draft really kicks off. Meanwhile, Cecil Turtle going to try and make a pass on the outside. I think he's cleared Beto. And he has, actually. He's moved back down to the inside. So Cecil making the outside work. And we've got a train of 3 cars getting a really good run going into turn 3. It looks like Toasty, Deeslove, and I can't tell who's in the back there, but it's Deeslove and Toasty getting past Kit.
All right, so the outside line there was short-lived, and I think that is maybe Stoles, maybe Kip. No, it's Ryder out there was looking for potentially joining Toasty and Deeslove, but now is hung out to dry and now looking to potentially rejoin the lower line.
Kip kind of poking a little bit on the sides of the number 3, probably trying to just get a good draft going though, because meanwhile Willie was pulling away for a little bit with that battle going on. See Deeslove and Toasty trying to work together to catch the front 2 runners going on right now.
Sometimes it can actually be not a great idea to get a really good start and build a gap up within the first lap, because oftentimes what happens is the cars behind you will get so much speed while catching up, they can just slingshot right past you. And if you're only just a little bit of ahead, they're more incentivized to keep bumping you ahead. But you know, if you're further up ahead and you have a really big speed differential, there's a chance that you might just get, you know, dropped back into positions. But it seems like Willie was fortunate not to have that happen.
It looks like the front 4 though pulling away from the main pack. They've been keeping it fairly in line for the longest time. Willie staying up in the lead there. Cecil gave him a bit of a big bump, and Beto, it looks like, leading your second pack that's starting to form up. Getting a little squirrely there from Kip,
yeah,
but manages to keep it clean.
Yeah,
yeah.
As the turn they go into the turn, they get very, very unorganized and out of position very quickly at the beginning of the turn. So good on them for keeping it very clean throughout the turn.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get working together if they want to catch those first 4. Looks like they're managing to do so though, as the gap between Beto and Toasty dropping a little bit at first, but increasing once again. As it looks like we've got like 2 packs going on right now.
Oh no, looks like I think that was Zukos got
There's an
spun
incident
around, and then Ryder got collected, and
There's an incident.
Ryan Higgins also got collected. That will be our 7th VSC of the night.
Still a long ways to go before lap 66, guys. You just need 1 more and we're tied.
It's not looking good for D1 today. Let's take a look at the replay.
I am very much biased, and I apologize in advance for sounding like I want there to be VSCs. I don't. I honestly don't. But, you know, the Division 2 and me, you know, I want that bragging right of saying that we were cleaner than Division 1.
The Zukos gets spun and collects. Oh, he goes right through and goes through a bunch of people, and then Dinosaur loses control. Ryan Higgins lost control. I mean, very easy to do so if you see a car like that coming at you very quickly in the oval.
looked like maybe Harm's Way got into that rear quarter panel. I can't say for certain whether or not it looked like it from that angle on the replay, but hard to tell. There was definitely contact though.
All right, so D-Slove looks like, or sorry, that was in the replay mode. So D-Slove has decided to stay out. Has pretty decent tire life on his car. Stoles stays out as well. Harm's Way, all looking pretty good. Anthony Colazzo as well. And then we got Nixon in 5th place, all looking pretty decent. Ryan Higgins there lucked out quite a bit, not picking up any damage, able to join the safety car without having to take a pit stop. So Willie, our race leader, jumped into the pits and is coming out now 7th place. Toasty also decided to take a pit stop. Cecil Turtle as well. Beto, Kip. Ducost in 12th. The person who originally got spun out. And then we got Ryder in 13th and Dinosaur. Probably the unluckiest of them all this whole race. Has been involved in pretty much every incident so far. And
I feel so bad for
14th.
Dinosaur because he's just been so unlucky right now.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's just an unfortunate case of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Be funny if he ends up winning the race.
I've seen crazier. Meanwhile, D-Slove going to take the lead. Speaking of Logitech, in the Logitech 75. Stoles on the outside. We may see the lines being staggered. Stoles may be able to quickly poke in, unless Harm's Way has something to say about that. I've noticed that with 1 and 2, they'll be staggered a little bit, and second place will try to jump into that inside line as quick as they can, and that's going to be the case. Going to very quickly pull in front of Harm's Way to get into that inside line.
Yeah, I think that's a very smart move. I think trying to preserve your position right away, as opposed to battling or trying to take first place as soon as the restart happens, is not a smart move. So D-Slove right now in first place, Stoles in second, and we got Harm's Way in third, preserving our original top 3 positions. And Stoles there getting a little bit of out of position, but still maintaining second place slipstream in the bottom racing line behind D-Slove. Ooh, got some contact between Willie and I think that was Nixon.
Willie staying on the inside there, a little bit low on the line, but they managed to keep it. They managed to keep it clean through turn 1. And I say that commentator's curse. Ryan Higgins gets spun,
no.
And there's the 12. I don't see any damage on Ryan Higgins. And they're still wrecking.
Yeah, there's still more happening. And Dinosaur gets
Dinosaur
collected
again. No, Dino. Yeah, there's the original spin. Oh,
Nixon came back.
Nixon back up the track, collects Kip and Dino. Just unfortunate for Dino. Nowhere really to go.
Well, at least we got a good look at the face in Dinosaur's window. It's definitely Lewis Hamilton. So that answers your question from before, whoever asked that. I think that was Ollie, maybe.
I believe it was Ollie asking who it was. So there you go. Lewis Hamilton. Dinosaur having to come in and fix the damage on the car again. Just a really, really tough break for Dino tonight. And that is, we are tied. We are tied, number 8. According to your calculations, you said what, 11?
I did say 11. Yeah.
I think we are on track for 11 still.
Yeah, it seems like that will be potentially the number that we end up with. Unless if we get, you know, like a 10 lap run of just clean racing, which happens, you know.
It does, but you'd still need to go another 4 or 5 laps before, safety car protocol is over for the rest of the race.
Yeah, so we got 16 laps. We've basically been averaging 5 to 6 laps before a safety car happens.
I think part of the reason why you're seeing more safety cars in Division One for the NASCAR series that we're doing this season could be because the Division One guys, they don't want to give an inch. They're much faster than the Division Two guys and willing to their skill level is a little higher than the Division Two guys with their speed. So they feel like they can battle it out a lot more. They're willing to do more risky moves. So that's potentially why you see a few more incidents in Division One compared to Division Two, especially on the ovals where everyone's just super close together, and just one slip up, one minor mistake, one car getting a little tight on the exit and end up in the quarter panel of someone else. Because Daytona, you don't have a whole lot of space. The road courses, you have a little more space to work it out, but Daytona, where the draft is so important, there's not as much give. Drivers will take, and there's only so much before something has to give. As we get back under green flag, with Willie leading the group again, lucking out from that safety car, Cecil going to dip back into the inside line. And a little bit of an outside line forming, but that's further back in the pack. Willie going to start pulling away for a little bit, but that inside line's starting to catch back up.
Yeah, Willie has been the master of restarts. Been getting clean starts and clean clean restarts. But Cecil now already caught up to Willie. We'll be looking to bump draft him forward. Yep. And I think Stolz is attempting to start a racing line on the outside along with Arms Way and Anthony Colazzo, it looks like. Oh,
it looks like they've just got a fourth jump in. Toasty.
Yep.
If they can make it work. Looks like they're trying to get it working. Toasty may be a little too far forward. Stoll's going to get a good run though. Stoll's not wanting to work with Toasty though. Gonna leave Toasty on the high line. It's getting to the point of the race where Stolz is like, I don't wanna work with someone that's not my teammate. As we managed to keep it green so far. Cecil kind of getting a little wide there. Has a good run though, might be able to. But, Beto got the back bumper of Willie, not gonna let Cecil get that run and use it to good effect. And another VSC.
Yeah, it looks like Harm's Way got collected there. This time though, I don't think Dinosaur was involved. Although, I don't want to jinx it. Yeah, Dinosaur stayed clean. Oh, maybe. Oh yeah, he's at the back of the pack, but he's not.
He's with the main pack. Yeah, he's clean.
Yep.
We didn't commentator curse Dinosaur this time.
I think Dinosaur's bad luck is starting to run out. And this is where he'll start to win the race, I think, in my opinion.
Oh, it
So,
looks
yeah,
like Nixon
and
comes up and just gets into harm's
Yep.
way. And then just a little extra tap from that car in the back there, that light blue just was enough to send. Yeah, just a little bit of a tap from Toasty. Not really much Toasty could do, though. Harmsway was already starting to get sideways, and Toasty just nowhere to go. Just finally finished that push to get Harmsway into a full spin.
So Toasty dives into the pits, comes out 11th. Willie, currently sitting in first place, decides to not take a pit stop. Beto, his teammate, remains in second place. We've got the Maelstrom Motorsports teammates in 3 and 4. Kip in fifth place. Yep.
And I think Kip and Ryan Higgins are gonna, they're 5th and 7th, so they're gonna be able to link up right at the restart. Both of them gonna be on that inside line.
Yeah, and
with
Zukost will do everything in his power to maintain his position by sliding in between the two on the restart.
Just gotta be careful not to gotta be careful not to do it too late, otherwise you're gonna end up getting hooked.
Yep. So this is number 9, right?
This is number 9, officially more than Division 2. I'm waiting for 10 so I can put wingdings in the chat.
So before we started this season, we were talking about the rules and regulations of the races and stuff, especially on ovals. And it came to, I think, several people's attention that I think bump drafting is almost treated as like, it's essentially a zero-sum game. You always want to bump draft, no matter how dangerous it is. And I had proposed that we'd ban bump drafting to get better oval racing, but that was quickly shot down by a lot of people for whatever reason. But I still stand by the fact that if we banned bump drafting, I think we would have gotten better racing, but that's just my opinion.
I will say, I don't know if it's true still nowadays or not. I know a few years ago it was banned in the lower racing series of NASCAR.
Yep.
As we get ready to go back under green flag, Willie going to take us back out of VSC and into the green. Beto going to slide in to maintain second position. I don't know if... No, it looks like the Toro Bravo team managed to keep Zukost from sliding in to maintain their 6th place. Ryan Higgins taking 6th place instead.
Yeah, it's a great job by the Toro Bravo teammates to squeeze out Zukost from getting into the lower line. And Willie will now lead the pack from pole position now, and then back into the lead after multiple exchanges.
It looks like Dieslove and Ryder almost had an accidental teammate spin there. Ryder kind of had to check up a little bit, and Dieslove just getting a little bit of an extra push there, almost making Ryder lose it, but managing to save it. And it's teammates all the way through, 1 through 6. We may see someone decide to make a move trying to get a tandem going, or we may see them just stay in line with their teammates close behind them, not wanting to risk anything.
You can see from this onboard shot how difficult it is to maintain your line, especially with the cars in front of you wiggling so much. Makes it extra risky to bump draft, but These guys are able to do it.
Also trying to keep in line with the car behind you as well, so a little bit of mirror driving as well, especially if you're Willie right now. You're definitely trying your best to mirror drive and stay directly in front of the car behind you. As it looks like Ryan Higgins gets shuffled into the outside line, forced to go all the way back into 8th place, so loses their link up with their Toro Bravo teammate of Kit. I think everyone's staying single file for the most part. We're getting closer to that cutoff point for VSCs, and we may see some of the drivers start making moves that they weren't earlier, just because we're getting close to the end here.
Yeah, once we pass the 66 lap point, it's no man's land. Any incidents after lap 66 will not trigger VSC, and everyone will be left to fend for themselves.
It's important to note for chat, though, those incidents still count towards penalties, so it's still in your best interest not to cause an incident just to get a higher position finish, because you will lose it when penalties start getting applied.
Yeah, and penalties at LRC are very, very heavy. We penalize based off of who caused an incident. We apply penalties. We apply position penalties instead of time penalties. But I think in oval racing, I think position penalties may be less severe than time penalties, seeing that everyone finishes so quickly and so tight together in the field. There's really only a couple seconds separating the entire field from first place to last. So if you were to get a 5-second penalty, that'd essentially be putting you in last place.
No, I definitely agree with that. It's still hard to lose positions from a penalty. Speaking from experience this season, but you know, it could have been worse if it were a time penalty. Definitely, you know, especially with like Daytona, with everyone so close together. We've got someone well away from the pack.
Let's see who that is. Oh, Nixon is back there. And then Dinosaur somehow lost a little bit of time.
Still kind of close enough to get a little bit of draft, but Dinosaur probably wants to get a little closer to the back bumper of the person ahead of him to make sure that he doesn't lose that draft fully like Nixon did. As we've reached lap 64, 2 more laps, and we're gonna be green the whole rest of the way. Ryder giving Willie a little bit of a bump there, and Willie's tires looking lower and lower by the second, but I think he can make it with 7 laps to go.
It's going to be tight for Willie to make it 7 laps with just a sliver of tire life left. I think he will be praying for a safety car just as we cross the 66th lap. But I don't really know if it's going to happen, everyone. Oh, as I say that, I see some sparks fly in the back of the grid.
That's harm's way.
No incident now, though.
Nope, and if we don't have one at the exit of turn 4, I think we'll be good to finish the race. Dinosaur losing the draft as well. You can see him falling further and further back. Harm's way getting into that wall, and we've got, it looks like, I think that's Ryan Higgins trying to make something on the outside work. I don't think it's gonna work now, and we've got someone off.
Kip.
That looks like a maybe VSC right at the line. Nope, they're going full speed.
Yeah, there's not slowing down. So I think that will be it for VSC's. Kip is out of luck. we got Willie right now leading the pack, and the Maelstrom Motorsports boys, Ryder and D-Slub, very close behind, not looking for, but waiting for their opportunity to overtake. I know they're both going to jump probably into the outside line when it makes sense.
And look who got a good run on the outside for a little bit. It was Cecil Turtle with a little bit of a good run from the outside by himself. Willie, I wouldn't poke too low on the apron though. Maelstrom not wanting to give an inch, and if you pull down and lose a little bit of pace, you may end up accidentally pitting yourself. I wouldn't try and dip below that yellow line anymore.
And Cecil finally losing the momentum on the outside line, tucks back into the inside, and there's some contact though between Cecil and I think that was Ryan Higgins. And then
it is, and Ryan Higgins is spinning on the inside.
Oh no! Oh no!
Cecil, it looks like Cecil went high and started to spin, collecting harm's way. Ryan Higgins ending up going into the infield grass and going for a little bit of a spin.
So right now, Stoles right now is currently sitting in 5th place. I think at this point, Stoles, if he finishes in 5th, he will take the Drivers' Championship. But there's a real battle between Toasty and Harmsway, but Harmsway got collected, so Toasty's sitting pretty good right now in 8th place. And then we got Ryder, really the only other person who's up there with 59 points, so he's not really in contention for the top 3 of the Drivers' Championship. I think Toasty might be securing 2nd place quite nicely here, but I don't want to speak too soon.
There's still 3 more laps to finish. When they cross the line, it's going to be 2 to go, so a lot can happen still. And D-Slub and Ryder probably thinking of what they can do to get past Willie. Willie trying to block everything they've got. But, you know, he's the sole Team.com car having to go around Cecil. Cecil being slow, making everyone have to check up and go high. And it looks like our Ryder going to try and make a move on the outside with help from D-Slub.
Oh, that looked like an inopportune time to potentially try to pass. Now they're looking to get back into the low line after they made their mistake. Oh, and then Beto gets spun into the wall and he loses out on 2nd place. No, sorry, that wasn't Beto. That was Ryder.
Getting into Beto. Or was it Beto getting into Ryder? We'll have to look at that later. That's something for the stewards to look out. Beto not wanting to give an inch, and Willie with a good gap. I think he's got it. If he can hold off Beto.
Yeah, so Beto right now with, it looks like D-Slub behind him. I think they'll have a really good opportunity to overtake Willie on the outside going into this final 2 corners.
Though Beto with Team.com, I don't think he's going to want to try and get past his teammate. I think he's going to try and get his teammates to have that win secured. Zukas trying to weave on the outside, back on the inside, looking to maybe get the last podium position away from D-Slub.
And here they go side to side through the foot. I don't know, so it looks like okay, yeah, so Willie there. Oh my god, it was like a 3-way finish between D-Slub, Beto, and Zukost. But yeah, I was expecting Beto to actually try to go for the win there, but he actually got caught up and then ended up 3 wide with D-Slub, Beto, and Zukost across the finish line. Stoles ended up in 5th place, Anthony Colazzo in 6th, Toasty in 7th, and Dinosaur in 8th, Armsway in 9th place, Nixon in 10th. Oh my goodness.
Crazy finish at the end there. You saw Willie get very, very loose and get into the inside, into that inside infield grass for a little bit, managing to hold off and keep enough of a handle on the car to edge out the win. But D-Slub coming in at the final bit there in the tri-oval, overtaking Beto by less than a 10th or less than 100th of a second.
Yeah, at first I saw Willie's car kind of like lag a little bit, and it looked like he lost control, and I like caught my breath. I was like, oh my god, is really gonna lose it the last second. But then it looked like maybe it was net code or something, and he ended up winning the race.
900ths of a second ahead of Love.
Yeah. So we got Willie in taking the race today with first position, Love in second, and then we got Beto rounding out the podium positions. Ducas in fourth. So our top finishers all within a tenth of a second. We got Stoles with a solid fifth, so I think that puts Stoles solidly in the provisional first place of the championship standings. Anthony Colazzo in sixth place, Toasty in seventh, Dinosaur in eighth. So pretty good finish for Dinosaur despite all the incidents that he was involved with. Armsway in ninth, Nixon in 10th, Ryder in 11th, Kip in 12th, and then we got Ryan Higgins in 13th, and then Cecil ended up with being a lap down due to the incident on, I think it was the 68th lap.
Cecil getting into an incident, and then right at the final lap, just getting overtaken by the leaders there, making everyone go wide, kind of giving us the catalyst of that crazy finish.
Yeah, for sure. So I think Dinosaur might end up joining us on chat for a bit, and then we'll go through the provisional standings. I think he will be entering the results as we speak. Let me get a confirmation from him. Just hang tight.
While we're getting confirmation, I would like to personally thank LRC and Dinosaur for hosting the league and for providing an amazing racing experience for everyone in LRC with a sportsmanship license to compete and improve, and also show off who's the better driver in the server at the moment. And of course, we've got a little bit of a downtime before season 4, and hopefully a lot of these drivers will come back. We're not doing NASCAR again. I'm pretty sure Dinosaur has said we are never touching the Camaros again. We're going back to the road courses. I don't know if that means GT4 or GT3 cars, but we are going back to the GT cars. Honestly, I would love to see some multi-class racing, but server like the lobby size in Gran Turismo not really adequate enough to give us really good multi-class field sizes.
Yeah, unfortunately, being limited to 16 doesn't really make that much of a multi-class lobby, but we do indeed have multi-class races at LRC. We have a monthly one called FTEGP. Usually the lobbies get filled all the way out, and if you're interested in joining, check out our Discord. I have the link pinned in chat. And the off season is actually a really good time to join our group because we tend to have a lot more one-off events between the seasons. So we'll have another 2 months of just random one-offs or mini series or just like random events, and we'll focus more on recruiting people, building up the user base again, and then kind of preparing for season 4, which thankfully will be road cars again, not not road cars, but road racing tracks and not ovals.
We'll be back with the GRs and not the Camaro.
Yeah.
And which is sad because I've grown to at the start of the season, and like especially like race 2, I kind of was in a slump, and I was just like, I hate this car, I hate this is the worst idea ever. Why did I sign up for this? But no, like unironically, near the last half of the season, even though like race 4 I ended up driving with COVID, I started to fall in love with the Camaro, and I'm kind of sad to see it go. I'm glad I don't have to drive it. I'm glad I don't have to drive it in a race again, because geez Louise, that that aero package and the power package makes it a very handful to drive, but it's grown on me. It's grown on me, and I'm kind of sad to see it go.
Yeah, I think the power package first and foremost was the challenge. I think so we tried to make the spec as close as to the next gen NASCAR as much as possible, but keeping it around 650 horsepower for the road cars, man, it's just it's a doozy. And I think one of the things that we maybe should have done is I think we could have reduced the tire wear multiplier and gone with soft tires instead of mediums and hards, because I think soft tires would have made it a little bit more, I would say, manageable for the road courses.
Maybe for the grip, but
Yeah.
it would definitely be when that update hit with the updated physics and the tire wear.
Oh yeah.
You would be running. You would have to turn the tire wear down a ton.
Yeah. Maybe like one exit or something, just to get the soft tires to last longer. But yeah, I was thinking like soft tires would have made it a little bit more manageable in terms of grip and not having everyone lose the car on any sort of turn exit. But on paper, it seemed like the car was going to be really great. Like we were all super excited, and frankly, the events that we did, the test races that we did with the car were really really fun. But I think when it comes to just oval racing in general, it's just a challenge, right? Again, like we were saying before, people will bump draft regardless because it's kind of like a zero-sum game. And you always want to bump draft, you always want to take the risk, and then that ends up typically leading to tons of incidents, as we just saw tonight.
I wouldn't call it a zero sum. I feel like part of it is also just it's tough to kind of not bump draft, especially at Daytona, because you just get so much of a good run that you either let off on the gas and you fall way behind, or you have to tap the brake and then you really check up the field, and that causes a risk of incident. So kind of that gray area where maybe banning bump drafting could have made for more interesting racing, but at the same time it could have made it a little more dangerous. We don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to tell what could have been, but this season was entertaining to say the least. We had really good races. We had some really, really tight finishes. The like last week, the Division 2 race was absolutely epic in the last lap, where I think it was People took the win by less than 1/10 of a second on the final lap with dead tires after the safety car restart. There are plenty of other moments like that within the season, and yeah, it's sad to see the car go. You know, like you're saying, every time I participate in a season at length, I kind of tend to fall in love with the car, and you become like pretty knowledgeable about the ins and outs of the car, how it behaves, its quirks around the corners, and it's kind of sad when you don't have that anymore. You kind of give that up. You don't have that knowledge of the intimate knowledge of the car anymore, and you don't have any more races to use that intimate knowledge anymore.
Maybe if we do the NASCAR season again, do like we did with the server battle and have the Nissan Silvias.
Oh yeah,
And have it
Nissan
kind of
Silvia's
look
a great car, yeah.
Yeah, have it kind of look like the Gen 4 era NASCAR, you know. If we do another NASCAR season, because I honestly think the NASCAR season, and another thing I'm gonna miss is the unique liveries that every driver had.
Oh yeah.
Because I believe with the GR3 and GR4 cars, when it comes to the league, then the team has a livery that all of the team members have to run.
Yeah.
And it was nice seeing that change of pace, because it seemed like every driver had their own unique identity, and it's kind of sad to see that go.
Yeah. Maybe we'll introduce that in the future series, regardless if there's teams or not. You know, I think that was really fun. I think seeing everyone have their own individual livery kind of made the field a little bit more alive. Even if it was a little bit more difficult to see who was on which team, I still really enjoyed it.
I think the banners helped though a lot to, because even though sometimes it was hard to tell who was on what team, if you were able to catch a look of the windshield banner, you could easily see, oh, this is this team or this is that team.
Yep.
So maybe having something like that may be a good step forward. But I'm just a driver. I don't know anything.
Okay, so I think the standings are being updated as we speak. Let me just double check numbers here. I don't want to show it quite yet if Dinosaur is still updating the numbers. Let me check one last page. Oh no, he's still
And of
putting
course,
stuff in.
of course, incidents not going to be reported quite yet. We're gonna give the drivers a little bit, although it looks like Walker's already put something into the incidents forums. But official incident reporting doesn't start till 12 hours after?
Yeah, we do a 12-hour cooldown period between the end of the race and when incidents can be reported to let people cool off before reporting incidents and letting them letting the adrenaline wear off before they get involved in reporting incidents and talking about who did what and whose fault it was in certain parts of the race. So it kind of helps with both the sportsmanship aspect of the league, but also preventing any severe arguments or any sort of disagreements and stuff from heating up.
Which I think is a good call because, me personally, I've had it where like heat of the moment, oh, this was, and then looking back, it's like, okay, well, actually. So it kind of gives the drivers a chance to, one, to save the replays, and then two, to kind of look over the replays with a calmer head and be like, okay, what actually, and look at it from a fresh perspective too. So, we give the drivers 12 hours, let them sleep on it a little bit, wake back up. Usually I'm at work when the reporting process starts, or like the reporting window like first opens. I'm usually at work. But we give drivers 24 hours to submit a report. If there's a lot of incidents, I don't know if maybe y'all leave it open a little longer just in case. But I know at the minimum it's 24 hours from when the window opens.
All right, so the standings and the results were put in. So let's take a look at the final results. So Orwick takes the Division 2 Drivers' Championship with 73 points. Flying Disc is in second. So again, to preface all of this, these are provisional results, so these don't take into account any penalties that will be applied from incidents. So this will be subject to change, but Orwick is in first place with 73 points. Flying Disc in second with 69 points. Gold in third with Team.com with 67 points. And then P-Pool in fourth with 65. So it was an incredibly tight finish between the top four people. Ads in fifth place, Lamb King in sixth. So actually he's tied with Ollie Bali and Kaido. So all three of you are tied for sixth place. I think that will be resolved via a head-to-head on positions. So we'll see who comes out on top after penalties are applied, and then also the head-to-head if there's still the same points. Show Me in ninth with 43 points. Racer X in 10th with 42 points. So incredibly tight field in the midfield. Buttons in 11th. Rocket Bunny 12th. Bishop 13th. Cecil Turtle 14th. Jesus 15th. S. Walker 16th. M. Stencil 17th. Token Timmy 8th. And then J. Hunt 19th. So a lot of the people who are at the bottom of the grid were simply just fill-ins or substitutes or reserve drivers from others. that needed to that needed a replacement during any point in the season. So for the team standings for Division 2, Maelstrom Motorsports takes the win with 118 points, only 4 points ahead of Team.com. That's incredibly close. And then Chama Racing just misses out with 107 points. Whisker Warriors Performance Racing 102 in fourth place. In fifth place, we have Diddley Squat Racing with 99 points. 6th, Invictus, and then 7th, Toro Bravo Racing. And then let's switch over to Division 1 results before we get into the overall. So Stolz with the provisional win of the Drivers' Championship with 131 points. Toasty in second place with 109 points. Armsway in third. D-Slub fourth. Willie in fifth. So Willie made a huge jump, I think, from the last race for finishing first. And then Colazo 6th, Ryder 7th, Zukost 8th, Beto 9th, Dietrich 10th, Nixon in 11th, Kip in 12th, Dinosaur in 13th, Ryan Higgins 14th. We got Bishop, Ads, Vergold 15th, 16th, 17th. Actually, sorry, Vergold and M. Stenzel are technically tied for 17th. And then we got Lugi, Orwick, and Cecil. So the team standings provisionally for Division 1, Invictus takes the lead thanks to Stolz' performance today, or throughout the entire season, I should say. Diddley Squat Racing takes second place, and then Chama Racing in third. So Team.com and is in fourth place, and Maelstrom Motorsports misses that out on that fourth place just by 3 points. Whisker Warriors Performance Racing 6th, and then Toro Bravo Racing in 7th. All right, so now for the final team overall championship points, Invictus takes the lead and wins the overall team championship with 286 points. Diddley Squat Racing falls to second place, unfortunately, after having the lead. And then Maelstrom Motorsports jumps into third, Chama Racing into fourth, and Team.com into fifth. So the difference between 3, 4, and 5 is only 3 points.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. And then Whisker Warriors Performance Racing, 6th place, and then Toro Bravo Racing, 7th. Whew.
Talk about a lot to go through there.
Yeah. And again, these are all provisional, so it's subject to change. But I just want to say a huge shout out to everyone who participated. Thank you, Dinosaur, especially for organizing and running the league every week. It's a huge job. It's a huge chore. Thank you to Silva, Azazel, Rogue, and Bishop for all contributing to stewardships and stewarding the incidents of all the races this season. Bishop, even though you only did like a couple races and had to jump into the race as a participant, thank you anyway. You guys have been a huge help in terms of getting these incidents essentially ruled and then delivered. So huge help. It's a very time-consuming job, and I really appreciate all the help that you guys have contributed this season. And then thanks to you, Kaido, for jumping on the streams and commentating with me for these races. I really appreciate you joining in on the races that you can to help me commentate and stream the league.
I've got to say thank you for letting me be able to come on and help commentate these races with you. I wouldn't be here if you didn't have that opportunity to let us come in and commentate with you when we're able to do so, and also for having the server as a whole, because without the server we wouldn't even be having this event in the first place.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, the server. I love the server. I love LRC, and it's everyone who's part of the server is what makes it great. It started off as just me doing a Wednesday practice session just once a week, and then bunch of people like Dinosaur joined, and Toasty and a bunch of others who wanted to run their own events started doing so and started organizing their own series, and now LRC is way bigger than I ever thought it would be. So props to everyone who joined and participated and make it what it is today. So thank you to everyone.
And do we have confirmation if Dinosaur's jumping in?
I don't think
I
we
know
do. Yeah.
I know it's super super late, so I'm just like, do we know for a fact if Dinosaur's coming in? Because I know
I don't think he is.
he's probably exhausted and tired from
Yeah.
one being there for the Division 2 race and hosting the lobby and calling out the VSCs for that, and then racing in the chaos of the Division 1 race. And then like after all of that, having to put in the provisional points and results for this race to give us that final points tally at the moment. Let me preface it with at the moment.
Yeah.
The final results. Dinosaur's probably extremely tired and rightfully deserves to have a little bit of a break.
Yep. Yeah, and with that being said, again, like just one more thank you to everyone. Thank you guys for watching. Anyone who's watching the stream and hasn't joined LRC, definitely do so. Click on that link that's pinned in chat. It'll take you to our Discord server, and then you can just join the community, join the group. It's a fun time. Everyone who's involved is amazing. So hats off to them. And this won't be like this will be the last stream for a couple weeks. I think before we start streaming again, we might do like another mini series or something in between the seasons, kind of like we did last time with the Academy League. So watch out for that. And then we'll probably start streaming the FTGPs again as soon as I have more time. So we won't be going away for long. So feel free to follow or just join us on YouTube or even join the Discord to keep up with us. And with that said, any final words, Kaido?
Just that we've had an incredible season and can't wait for season 4 and all the chaos and shenanigans that are going to come from that. And probably a whole thing of, man, I missed a lot of drivers right now saying, oh man, I'm so glad the Camaro's not coming back. But we may see some of them change their minds in the next coming few weeks, being like, you know what, I really missed the Camaro. And actually, Dinosaur coming into the party at the last second there.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
What's up,
I just saw your tag. What's up, dude?
Yo, so we actually just went over the championship standings and stuff, and we're like,
You see where I updated them?
Yes, yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, we went over the provisional standings. It's all subject to change, but yeah. Any final thoughts from you, Dinosaur? And first of all, I just want to say thank you for organizing the league and running it. It's a huge undertaking, so we really appreciate you spearheading it.
I can't wait to throw this car in the trash or do some road courses, bro.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
I'm over here saying I'm gonna miss it because like I finally grew attached to it, and here I was at race 2 saying I was ready to just drop out and throw the car away.
No, it's been fun overall. It was an experience for sure. I'm excited for the next season. Will be nice spec GR4 series on road courses, so it'll be much more fun for some of us.
All right. Any last thoughts? Anything you want to contribute, or any thanks, Dinosaur?
Well, thanks to you guys for the stream and the commentary and making it an event for more people, just not the 14 on the racetrack. And looking forward to the next one. We'll have November kicking off season 4, so it should be a good time.
Alrighty, and there you have it. And as I was mentioned before, we'll be streaming probably a bunch of one-off events or maybe even a mini-series in the meantime. So definitely catch us on here.
We got an FTGP at Altopolis coming up.
Yep, we have FTGP as well, so stay tuned for those. And with that, thank you for watching and stay tuned. I'll see y'all later and have a nice night.